Federal Executive Council approves extension of second phase of National Sugar Master Plan to 2033. Central Bank of Nigeria CBN says policy will stabilize exchange rate as Naira falls to lowest levels. Oil prices extend recovery and surprise draw in U.S. inventories. Plus Asia Pacific markets rise after Wall Street rebound overnight. This is Business Express on the network service of the Nigerian Television Authority, the NTA, and we are reaching you from Abuja, the nation's capital. I am Leah Katung Babatunde. You're welcome. A very beautiful morning to you out there. We start the program by informing you that a high-powered National Council on Climate Change has been inaugurated with a mandate to formulate appropriate policies towards achieving green growth and sustainable economic development for Nigeria. President Muhammadu Buhari performed the ceremony before the commencement of the Federal Executive Council meeting in Abuja.
Let me, at this point, reiterate the determination of this administration to strengthen our national response to climate change and accelerate the implementation of decisive actions to reduce its impacts on our people and our economy.
Now, the Federal Executive Council has approved the second phase of the National Sugar Master Plan 2023 to 2033. This is aimed at enhancing the development of the nation's sugar industry towards achieving self-sufficiency in sugar production. Minister of Industry, Trade and Investment, Niyi Adebayo, announced these while briefing journalists after the council's meeting presided over by President Muhammadu Buhari.
That as a result of this phase two, we'll be able to create 110,000 jobs from it. We are hopeful that Nigeria will be able to produce 1.7 to 1.8 billion metric tons of sugar a year, thus eliminating the $350 billion that we spent on the importation of raw sugar.
Now, how much is the Naira exchanging for other currencies? Let's find out. Now, why was the monetary policy rate increased to 15.5%? A question a lot of Nigerians are asking. Now, the Central Bank of Nigeria has been speaking on the reasons at a post-MPC briefing tagged unveiling the facts behind the figures in Abuja. Director Monetary Policy Department of the Apex Bank, Hassan Mahmoud, said the committee had to take the stringent measure to deal with short-term risk after it realized the quantity of money in the system was too much for the economy to absorb. This, he said, was further exacerbated by other factors not peculiar to Nigeria, like the pandemic, Russia-Ukraine war, and the general state of the global economy.
Increasing by 100 basis points, 110 basis points, 90 basis points. That's what sometimes we call galloping or runaway inflation. So the movement was too big, and monetary policy tools are largely to just manage demand and the money market ends.
Interest rate on savings, based on the recent circular we issued to the industry, is now pegged at 30% of MPR.
So we're wrapping up our policy on increasing supply. We're also looking at other avenues of attracting investment from the diaspora into the Nigerian economy.
Now, even though Nigerian currency, the Naira, has dropped to its lowest levels at the parallel market against the US dollar, the Central Bank of Nigeria has assured Nigerians that its policy will stabilize the exchange rate, as the Naira, of course, has become a greater source of concern to a lot of investors and Nigerians doing business. To speak on what can be done to achieve these equilibrium is an economist, Yeshua Aliu, and you're welcome to Business Express.
Thank you very much.
Well, the Nigerian currency indeed has been battered, but again, we will say that this is not something that is affecting just the Naira. The fall we noticed yesterday was a day after the MPC, and of course, it was on a day that our political campaign doors open. Can you give us an understanding of these developments? Did you get my question, or you would want me to take it again?
Yeah, I want to take it again.
Great. I was trying to find out from you that the downward trend we saw in exchange rate yesterday at the parallel market was coming a day after MPC, and of course, just yesterday, the doors to political campaigns open. Give us an understanding of this development.
Of course, it's a normal trend in the foreign exchange market. But what we are always trying to propel to the economy is the fact that the central bank, who has the sole authority of issuing this type of currencies, particularly to investors, must be looking at the leakages that is involved in the allocation of this foreign exchange. When at the parallel market, the price is dwindling, is as a result of many factors, demand and supply. When politicians are not demanding, definitely this same currency will not be affected. But in a situation where politicians begin to request or begin to look for the alternative, that is the money they are spending in the election year, definitely the search will continue. But however, the rate at which the Naira is against the dollar is too bad for Nigerian economy, especially when you look at the consumption pattern of most of the consumers in the economy. More importantly, the energy sector, and oil and gas. It is unfortunate that up to now, the Nigerian economy is importing PMS, which the CBN has categorized that is taking so much of our foreign exchange. So I think it's a normal development, but what we are looking for is when the campaign machinery are being used, definitely if the CBN has not taken the right step, and definitely the exchange rate is going to be dwindling.
Okay, the CBN also made some observations that you have rightly pointed out that has to do with payment of subsidies on PMS. Now, we also have been noticing rising import bills and increased external debt servicing, and the CBN is saying these would constitute factors that would impede accretion of forex to the nation's reserves. Now, can you just give us an explanation of what this means for an economy like Nigeria that is still looking to increase income?
You see, in foreign exchange management, it is the sole responsibility of the Central Monetary Authority to make sure that the right avenues are used to supply this exchange rate. And when you take from the background the recent decision of the MPC by raising the CRR, that is cash reserve ratio of the banks, and also raising the monetary policy rate, which also is intended to cut money supply, which adversely is going to based on the right prediction of the policy to reduce inflation. But one important aspect at which I always dwell on is that, first of all, by raising the cash reserve ratio and at the same time raising the monetary policy rate in a stagflated economy. What is the stagflated economy? It is that same economy that has the highest, that is witnessing an increase in inflation to about 20.52%. And at the same time, you have that same economy with a high unemployment of 33%. So when you have these factors, and at the same time, looking at the possibilities of what is going to happen with our exchange, with our trade partners, it also depends on our consumption pattern. Most of the vehicles that are being imported for campaign purposes are produced not within the same economy. So our own main problem is that politicians must understand that if we don't maintain stability in our exchange rate, and if we don't maintain what we are producing, and if we don't check what we are producing at the right price, it's also going to be affecting us. Even the agricultural practices, which the high inflation is being recorded in food inflation, is as a result of many factors which are exogenous. Exogenous in the sense that the fertilizer is imported. Most of the insecticide, the herbicide, all these are imported. And even the raw materials, and also not only the agricultural industry, but manufacturing as well. So we're looking at all these factors. We have to sit and maintain that our economy must be at a stable acceleration, meaning that what we are producing in our economy must be commensurate with the actual target in our fiscal and monetary responsibilities.
Now, what role is manufacturing playing in ensuring that the crisis of forex is abated?
You see, manufacturing in every economy is very vital for the economic growth of that economy. And once you mention manufacturing, you have to also look at the other value chain of that same sector of the economy. But what we are emphasizing is that most of the manufacturing that is taking place cannot be succeeding if the national grid continue to be collapsing, because what is keeping the high import of automobile gas oil is as a result of inefficiency of the power sector.
Well, the inefficiency of that sector, that's to say that most of these things have to
Also,
work.
has tried as much as possible to give certain incentive to our manufacturers. But if we continue to import the raw materials, basic raw materials, that will now trigger good growth level in manufacturing, we are going to be affected.
Okay, now Governor Emefiele raised some concerns about the pressure on the bank via forex demands that include air ticket remittances based on the BASA agreements, PTA, BTA, school fees, and a whole lot in that gamut that is making it very, very demanding to meet the concerns, of course. Are these sources of worry going anywhere anytime soon?
I didn't get you correctly. I didn't get the question right.
Okay, now the pressure that is on the CBN, Emefiele identified some of them 2 days ago. They had to come to the aid of the aviation industry to pay some of these remittances to the countries who sold tickets via Nigeria for Nigerians, and so the remittances, the CBN had to pay a large chunk of that. PTA request is there, BTA is there, school fees is there, health services is also there. So these are a whole lot adding the pressure to the CBN in meeting the forex demand. Do you see these concerns going away anytime soon? And how do we ensure it goes away?
Let me be emphatic here. If the right allocations is given, the main problem is that many people who are not qualified for this forex in terms of health, in terms of education, are accessing them. And however, even those who are accessing them, they are not making good use of it. And they are not taking the right advantage of that one. So the central bank must also be more efficient in allocating those forex to the right quotas. I'm saying this because of the fact that people demand for it, but it is not the right demand. They are just trying to access for other reasons. So there is need for the central bank to look into that.
Okay, so before I let you go, there's this call for fiscal authorities to match what the central bank is doing by providing competitive incentives for Nigerian businesses to be active players, produce locally, as well as compete effectively and efficiently with their counterparts in other countries. What would you say of that?
Yes, it is done in all economies, including the US. The right investors who have good track record must be assisted, but not all of them. And also the central bank must not be selective. All we are trying to say in an attempt to help this economy to continue on the path of recovery and to record better growth level, there is need for the central bank to continue to assist. No economy is unfriendly. Other priorities like tax waivers. This will help the economy, and if it is helping the economy to reduce unemployment, that is, by reducing unemployment, is now adding to the GDP per capita, and all this is very essential to the growth of any economy worldwide.
Okay, I must sincerely thank you, Ishao Aliu, for making out time to give these insights towards this program. Do have a wonderful morning.
Thank you for not coming in. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Okay, we understand the traffic situation, and so thank you for.
Thank you very much.
Yes, thank you. Have a nice day.
Thank you.
Great. Now, considering the global economic realities, experts in the business environment have come up with adoptable recommendations to boost the economy. The financial experts and development partners at the forum on the 2023 to 2025 medium-term expenditure framework and fiscal strategy paper highlighted full consumption, all tax benchmark, tax expenditure, housing, all theft, security, among other areas needing urgent attention.
An exchange rate adjustment to close the gap, ultimately increasing productivity and local value addition, leading to economic growth and increased exports, will show up the value of the naira.
We are looking at diaspora. Diaspora, the remittance by the reports, that is even what we are earning for remittance is more than the oil. And so it's very, very important to note that the management of the resources of the country is one of the biggest responsibilities.
Now we move on. The House of Representatives has passed for second reading a bill to establish the Office of Budget Management of the Federation. The bill, jointly sponsored by the Speaker Femi Gbajabiamila and Representative Henry Nwawuba, seeks to provide a legal framework for the management of budget process in Nigeria. It also seeks to ensure effective regulation in budget preparation, presentation, implementation, and auditing. Next is Surviving COVID-19 series as put together by Neka Oko.
Surviving COVID-19 series is brought to you in partnership with the Central Bank of Nigeria.
Now, kuli na be my business. As I started to do kuli, I don't reach 10 years. Now there I'm selling fresh groundnut. Small time now. Anything next month and the fresh groundnut is ending. Then I now start the kuli again. So that money that I gather for all the gain what I get for here, I'll manage to start kuli. COVID-19. I really shorted for that COVID-19 time. Because the time as I do kuli a day, one bag of granules I used to do a day. But the time of COVID-19, everything is collapsed. Because if I go market, I'll go buy granules, 10 bags or 12 bags or 15 bags. But now, even half I not get it. Every day na reverse I just they do. Because that time I grind 3 bags of granules down before it just enter that period. So when I keep it, I'll now do a small. Anytime when I carry and come outside, they will buy and anyhow. So I just manage the money where remain. Take care of my life and my children. Government never helped me even 1 kobo. 1 kobo. Government will never enter my hand. I hear, I see it. People they are collecting it, but me and it never enter my hand.
You no apply.
I apply past 20 times, but it never enter my hand. If government help me, I'll continue with my business again. But guys, money not there for my hand like that time again. Because Corona scatter my plenty money self. I really shorted that time. I learned plenty too, so that if you chop may remain. If you chop may remain, because anytime while I feel come, so that may not suffer with your children.
Surviving COVID-19 series is brought to you in partnership with the Central Bank of Nigeria.
Cause if you chop, may you remain. That will be a healthy savings culture. Let's now take a trip to the commodities market. On Wednesday, the domestic bourse ended the session mixed, however, with a bullish tilt as the benchmark index inched higher by 0.02%. Buying interest in Bois Cement stocks drove the market into the green after the share price of the high capitalized stock appreciated by 3.07%. Thus, the all-share index of the Nigerian Exchange Limited settled higher at 49,171.7 points. Equities investors therefore gained 12.42 billion naira at the end of trading activities on Wednesday, as the market capitalization closed at 26.53 trillion naira. And now it's time to catch up with global market activities.
Global markets saw another volatile trading day on Wednesday, with stocks trading sharply lower as the global market sold off on economic concerns surrounding inflation and the growth outlook. European stocks fell on Thursday as the initial reprieve after the Bank of England stepped in to calm the market seemingly faded. Shares in the Asia-Pacific mostly rose on Thursday, following a rebound on Wall Street overnight. The rally in the US came after the Bank of England said it would intervene in the bond market to stabilize conditions. The Nikkei 225 in Japan advanced 0.95% to 26,422.05. The Hong Kong Shenzhen Index erased earlier gains to fall 0.84%, and in the mainland China, the Shanghai Composite was 0.13% lower at 3,041.20. Stock futures slumped on Thursday morning after the Dow Jones Industry Average staged a comeback of its lowest level of the year. Futures tied to the Dow Jones Industry dropped 1.88%, while the S&P 500 and the Nasdaq 100 futures also declined.
Thank you, Aisha Musa. And this is where we end this episode of the program for today. Don't forget, you can access all previous episodes of Business Express on the YouTube on NTA's channel. You can also communicate with us via all our social media platforms. Don't forget also, you can send in your comments, questions, and observations. Business Express returns Friday by 3 p.m. I'm Leah Katimbaba today saying have a very fulfilling day and God bless Nigeria.